Pittsburgh Steelers fans, welcome back to a very special episode of the Homer and the Hater Show. I'm Jeff Hartman, the Homer. He's Lance Williams, the Hater. If you've watched our shows before, you know this already. But here we are on this Wednesday night. Normally a standard is a standard. We just finished the standard is a standard. Thank you very much to Ian Whetstone of SteelCityInsider.com and Dave Schofield for joining us. I feel like my head hurts. I didn't even talk that much for 30 minutes, but I feel my head hurts now. Lance, real quick, have you seen the movie The House with Will Ferrell?
I see House Party.
No, not House Party. It's The House. And so it's basically where he's a standard average Joe guy. He and his wife get into some trouble financially. He is horrible at numbers in the movie. Okay. And so there's this one scene where they're sending their daughter off to college and they're going to their financial advisor. She goes, "Look, you have no money. Like, you can't afford to send her to college. You have no money." And he says, "Well, no, look, we have $401,000 right here." She goes, "No, that's your 401k. That's what I felt like during that conversation. So I feel happier here in my realm where I'm not talking about numbers. Amy Poehler is his wife. Thank you very much, Donald, in the live chat for pointing that out. It is a really funny movie. They create a casino in their buddy's house and they make a ton of money.
I think I saw
really,
that.
really funny.
That's not the one where he ran through the street buck naked.
No. That's Old School, which is another great movie, but that's not this movie. I mean, this is a movie. They're asking him to remember a combination, and he gets all fuzzy because of the numbers. Like, that's what I feel like with you guys.
I'm trying to guess, Jeff. Is Office Space your favorite movie?
No. I mean, it's great. Don't get me wrong, but it's not. No, I know a lot of it.
You like really silly movies.
Oh my gosh, I am. It's either comedy or action. Like Wedding Crashers, Old School, like Billy Madison, Happy Gilmore. Like, they are my all-time favorite movies. I just like to sit down and laugh.
Well, Jeff, if you cut off the mustache and beard, you're Jason Statham.
People have told me that. I've actually gotten that on multiple, like, people in person. People on Instagram will send me, like, "Hey, did someone ever told you look like Jason Statham?" Like, yes, actually I have.
I'm Cedric the Entertainer, and you're Jason Statham.
I see it. I totally see it.
Yes, people used to stop me in Atlanta and say, "Are you Cedric the Entertainer?" And I used to say, "Well, if it'd get me in the club free, yes." Well, we could be the Jason and Cedric show.
There you go.
That's another show. We could be the Homer and the Hater, aka the Jason and Cedric show. What was Jason Statham's show? It was the driver. He was the transporter.
The transporter, yeah.
Yes. He's beat up a ton of people in movies. And he's like 5'6".
I'm 5'9". Let's do it. All right, let's get to the Steelers talk. All right, we headlined it. Lance thought of the title for the show. He said the Steelers up their wattage. And then I added this part to it. I said the Steelers up their wattage, but why? And obviously he's referring to Derek Watt being signed. I went on record. You can check multiple podcasts. I said, I don't think they're going to make a day one signing at all. I didn't think they'd be able to afford it. He is not expensive, but at the same time, Lance, you hate the moves. I want you to go ahead. You're the hater. Do you want to start off?
I want to hear this theory. So so Jeff teased a theory. I just want to hear this conspiracy theory. I've heard like 7 million conspiracy theories in the last 2 weeks related to coronavirus. So I just want to hear this theory related to
theory. This isn't a conspiracy theory. I think that they signed him because, in my opinion, he almost killed 2 birds with one stone.
2 birds.
So you lose the player that leads your team in special teams tackles and Tyler Matakevich. They knew they weren't going to be able to sign him. And you and I both have said that during the season, how many times in the postgame show did we say the Steelers special teams suck? Like, they're awful. Awful.
Yes.
Okay. Derek Watt is considered one of the best special teams player in the league. Okay. So let's keep that in mind. All right. Secondly, you said they don't use a fullback. And I'm not disagreeing with you, but they also didn't have a fullback last year because Roosevelt Nix's knee injury, which I'm not certain is still right. Because if you remember, he sat out. He then came back, only lasted maybe a game, if that, re-injured it, and we never heard from him again. My theory is that I don't think he was ready. to play again. I don't think he's healthy. I don't see him signing with anyone because I don't know if he's going to pass a physical. So now the Steelers are looking at it, that their whole situation saying we are losing potentially our best special teams player in terms of tackles, and we're losing our fullback because this guy can't stay healthy. So you get Derek Watt, not very expensive. No, it's not flashy. No, it's not. But you know what? If he's a guy that they might say with Ben Roethlisberger and his elbow, we're going to need to run the ball a little bit more, and we're going to need. Where did they struggle the most running? Tell me.
Zone, short
Red
yardage.
zone and short yardage. What do you typically want on the field in those situations?
Multiple pass receivers.
Well, they have that, but they also maybe want to put a fullback out there. They didn't have one to use last year. You know what I mean? So if you go back to 2018, when James Conner had a Pro Bowl year, Roosevelt Nix was used more. I'm not saying a lot. He was used more. They didn't have him in 2019. It was a missing piece. I'm not saying it's a huge piece. I'm not saying the Derek Watt signing is going to equate to a Lombardi trophy in the trophy case. I'm not saying any of that at all. I'm just saying that to me, there is a rhyme to their reason. And Dave brings it up, and I'll bring it up on the screen here. He said Nix did ask for his release, but not necessarily before they signed Watt. So who knows what's going on? I'm just saying that I didn't hate it. I questioned. I was like, really, Derek Watt? I mean, it's cool. The Watt brothers. We already did this with the Edmonds brothers, but still, go ahead. You can tell me why I'm an idiot and why you disagree.
They're going to be in a tag team match too. The Edmonds versus the Watts off the top rope, drops the elbow. Let me just give you two analogies. Here's the first analogy. I don't want to get you in trouble, Jeff. When you were in high school, Jeff, yes, and when you were going to the prom and contemplating who you wanted to ask to go to the prom, did you have a couple of options?
I guess you could say that, sure.
Okay, and so let's rank the options. I don't want to objectify women in my analogy here, but let's just rank the options. Okay. Did you have like an 8 and a 6, an 8, a 7, and a 6?
Yeah, well, sure. We'll say 8, 7, 6.
Okay, 8, 7, 6. Let me just ask you, right? When prom finally was announced, and you were like, man, yeah, I got to figure out who my prom date is going to be. Let's just say you were a little bit more excited about the 8 than the 6. Would that make sense?
Yeah.
So let me just say, right, that first day, you realized when the prom was, what the theme was. Did you run out and ask the 6 on the first day?
No.
Who did you ask on the first day?
I guess you're waiting for me to say the 8.
Yeah. So you pretty much knew that the 6 was probably going to be confirmed because the 6 liked you. You were kind of friends. You figured she had a crush on you. So you didn't run out and run down the hill and go ask the 6. No, you were a little nervous and you asked the 8 because the 8 was the one that you really wanted to take. This making sense?
No.
Okay. So let me just continue. So let me just say this.
Why don't you just tell me why you hate the pick?
Why a fullback on day one? Is there some reason why, if everything you say is true, why they could not get Derek Watt like next week? Like I'm going to guess that Derek Watt as a 6, maybe even a 4, was not coveted in the National Football League. And with limited resources, is a fullback what the Steelers need?
Well, let me know. Again, this is a need. It's not a dire need. It's not a top of the list need. I also want to add in here that, did you see some of the contracts that were getting handed out? The Steelers weren't bringing in any of those players.
True.
So they couldn't afford any of those players at any position. They got a contract, but they said, you know what? We're not going to be big players in free agency anyways. Derek Watt is someone we targeted. It's someone we wanted for X, Y, and Z reason that I provided. Let's just go get him. Why wait?
Speaking of Saturday Night Live, I know you know Leslie Jones on Saturday Night Live, correct?
Are they on now?
I think they're on now. But if you guys in the live chat know Leslie Jones, signing Derek, I mean, it's just not sexy. It's about as sexy as Leslie Jones. It's just not sexy. I mean, when you have limited resources and you're going to the grocery store, do you buy cake or do you buy rice? I mean, which one do you buy? You buy rice, right? Rice can stretch it. You can do a lot of different things with rice. Well, you wouldn't buy rice, Jeff, but everybody else would buy. I'm just like, a fullback, really?
Well, but here's what it comes down to, Lance. What were your expectations? Like, what? Seriously,
none. It's like zero, but not
so
a
then
fullback.
What does it matter?
But a fullback?
Who cares? You had no expectations.
Given the fact that BJ Finney is gone, and we can clearly see they had no value for BJ Finney. Because
we're going to go through the list, but go ahead.
We'll go through the list. But BJ Finney basically signed for a sack lunch in Seattle. I mean, he didn't sign for anything. And they really, I mean, so I'm just thinking, like, man, aren't there, I mean, a fullback? I mean, really? Like a fullback? Come on, man, wake me up next week.
Well, I'm not saying that I was jumping for joy when all of a sudden you sent me the text and said they just signed Derek Watt, in which case I thankfully was at my computer and just started to do work. But at the same time, I'm like, well, I didn't expect anything. I didn't expect them to make a move during the tampering period. I didn't expect them to make a move today other than getting rid of players and restructuring contracts, which is exactly what they did. And Reed, as you put on the screen, says teams like the Browns make quote unquote sexy signings all the time, and look where they're at. This is true.
And Reginald Rivers, to my moniker, the hater, Lance ain't satisfied with nothing that the Steelers do. I'm just like, man, a fullback? Let's just put it all together, right? I get it, right? I get the football need. He's the special teams ace. We were talking about, well, they might have him play tight end. Looked up his stats. The guy had 10 receptions. So I'd be like,
that doesn't mean he can't catch the ball. That doesn't mean he couldn't be flexed out. I'm not saying he's Kyle Juszczyk, but at the same time, it doesn't mean he can't catch the football.
Well, that sounds like when they used to say that. What was the guy's name? Tebow could be a tight end. It's like, come on, man, dude, never been a tight end.
He could be a tight end. He chose not to be a tight end. He would have been a good tight end.
Yeah, okay. He couldn't catch. He knew he couldn't be a tight end. That's why I didn't do. I'm just like, okay, tight end. I'm just like, with limited resources, what what when Derek Watt blocks Myles Garrett off the edge, Lance will be off. No, he won't. Because here's the other thing. The quarterback, Ben Roethlisberger, he wants pass receivers. He doesn't want a fullback. If Derek Watt is going to be a fullback and going to contribute to this offense, he will have to catch the ball. But a fullback and a long snap. Let me just stop before you get to the long snapper. Let me just.
He's down the list.
Let me just stop before you get to the long snapper. I mean, come on, man. A long snapper and signing a fullback is like kissing your cousin.
It comes down to your expectations. Like, you had in your mind, you'll say that you didn't, but you clearly did because you're disappointed. And I'm not disappointed at all because I had expectations that I knew they weren't going to go out and get this guy.
It's like, look, fan means fanatic, right? And I was a fanatic. I'm stupid to think that with limited resources, the Steelers would do anything substantial. But when they signed a fullback, I was like, wait a minute. You have no money and you're going to buy cookies, buy rice, dude, buy milk, bread, peanut butter, something that's going to stick to your ribs that you can eat for like several days because you've got like $3 for the next 2 weeks. You don't buy cookies.
Well, let's see what happens. Okay, let's just see what happens. Let's keep everything in check. Let's go through some of the other Steelers free agents that were lost or retained. We'll put it that way. And I want to get your take on some of these other guys. We heard your Watt stance and did what it says. Who did you want them to get with the money they had?
Like Thaddeus said, I wanted ramen noodles, baby. I wanted ramen noodles.
All right. So you already mentioned the BJ Finney signed a 2-year deal with the Seahawks, and it was not for a lot of money. I believe it was about $8 million total. So that averages out to roughly $4 million a year. A lot of people thought the Steelers could have managed that if they wanted.
They could have. They didn't want to.
Well, I said this on a Steelers preview a couple weeks ago. I said, maybe, just maybe, we are overvaluing him and they don't see him the same way.
Absolutely. And we kind of teased it on the standard as the standard. And I think the writing was on the wall, so to speak, when they kicked Filer inside for the Rams game.
Yeah.
And they chose not to play Finney at guard. So I think the writing was on the wall there, that I think they think Finney's a limited player, because I think $4 million would have been a tender, would have been like the first round tender around that
can't
cost.
tender. He was an unrestricted free agent.
Yeah, they couldn't tender, but that shows you just how small that contract was.
Yeah.
That it's probably a little bit more than a second round tender. So they had no value for BJ Finney.
Yeah, no, I agree. The other Artie Burns is the next on my list here. He's still unsigned. Last I checked, he is waiting for someone to call. We'll see what happens there. Ryan Shazier was an unrestricted free agent, was placed on the reserve retired list. Lance, your thoughts when the Steelers did that?
Now, I should have asked Ian what that designation means. What does it mean from a cap perspective? I haven't looked at over the cap.
I don't think he factors into the cap.
Okay.
Because he's on the retired list. Now, they retain his rights. So if he works his way back to playing, they still own his rights. But I don't think he's considered on the cap. I think that he's kind of off the books at this point. And I don't know. But I could be wrong. I'm not a numbers guy. Maybe someone in the live chat knows that. And they can help us out there. But we'll see. All right.
No real opinion on that one. I mean, he can't play. So I think at some point in time, he's not going to count against their cap. I mean, I think they'll keep him around in the facility, and he'll have some sort of job with the Steelers, and he'll be paid handsomely. In fact, ironically, my brother saw him and his family out to dinner a couple weeks ago and said, Ryan Shazier looks fantastic. He said, if you didn't know that he suffered that injury, you would think he was just an absolute stud. He's like, he looks great. He couldn't believe it, how well he looked. And there's a joke about Artie on the live chat, if I click it right, and I did not, about Artie playing in the XFL. Of course, I wouldn't click the right one. This moves fast. You guys are active tonight. I love it. You guys are quarantined, stuck in the house. You guys are firing away. I love it.
Well, Ali saying Pouncey just restructured. I'll see if that news is fact or fiction. Dave, if you're out there watching, you better get on that article like I did during your show yesterday when all those tenders were released. All right, so let's move on down the list. Bud Dupree was, as expected, Lance, franchise tagged. Your thoughts on that?
Well, I'm on record as saying they shouldn't have tagged Bud. So, I don't have to kill that dead horse just because, I don't think Bud's going to be here after this year. And if you guys listen to, the Standard show with Ian that we did tonight, and it's probably a lot of the reasons that Ian described, in our interview with him. So I'm not going to give you Ian's reasons. Mm-hmm. I'm going to make you guys listen to that. I just don't think it's doable, especially with the restructure of Ben Roethlisberger, with Ben coming in at a salary cap number of $40 million. But let me ask you, since you are the holder of 7 sevens, you are the president of the Ben Roethlisberger fan club, 7 sevens.
Thank you.
If Ben stinks this year, he's got to get cut with a $40 million cap hit, doesn't he?
No.
That you really think they're going to keep him on a book?
The only way he gets cut is if he gets hurt, and if he gets hurt, he'd probably retire. I don't think they have too much money tied up in them, and they would always hold out hope that maybe, just maybe, there was rust. Maybe it was this. I don't think there's any chance. That's just
oh my god,
that's a giant salary to eat.
You know what? You're right, dude. And the Steelers are going to have to hope that the estimates that the cap bumps to $240 million will happen next year, because $40 million. I mean, just think about it. How good is it? How good is it if you're Ben Roethlisberger, right? You've won 2 Super Bowls. You're a Hall of Famer. You've played fantastic football for the Steelers over the course of his tenure. You hurt your elbow. You play 2 games, and you get all of your salary kicked into a bonus. And they come to you and say, hey, man, we got a check for about $20 million for you, $21 million. Just sign on the dotted line. And he's like, can I use my left hand? Because, my elbow is a little tender.
Just email me and I'll docu-sign it.
Yes, just
click.
email and I'll doc you sign because we have to practice social distancing. I mean,
That's right.
come on, man. You're hurt basically the whole year and you still hit the lottery.
Heck yeah.
Oh,
I'm telling
wow.
you. Financial hero there. All right. So let's go to our complete our we still have a few more. So Sean Davis today did sign a 1-year contract with the Washington Redskins. They lost him. And I think someone I want to get your opinion on was Javon Hargrave. Man, did that guy cash out with a 3-year deal with the Philadelphia Eagles. What were your thoughts on Hargrave getting the big money?
Good for him, man. The
Yeah.
Grave Digger has played really good football. And see, at least if in that position, unlike the fullback position, which is about as antiquated as a TV with a wooden bezel, at least as a nose guard, you could play situation. You could play. He can play. He's proven he could play in sub packages and in base defense, and he showed that he's stout against the run and he can pressure. So at least, although he plays nose tackle, he is versatile and can do a lot of different things. But good for him. I mean, that's what you want to see. Unfortunately for the Steelers, they develop him and they can't retain him because he's a fantastic football player.
Yeah, good for him. And that's like I got an email from Brandon Lee Galton, who's the editor at the Philadelphia Eagles site for SB Nation, Bleeding Green Nation, and he asked a bunch of questions about him, trying to get a feel to. And I say he's a good dude. He's a great player. You're not going to hear anything about him. He's just quiet. He goes about his business, but man, he represents South Carolina State well for sure. Nick Vanette still remains unsigned. Last I checked, defensive tackle LT Walton will remain unsigned, I'm sure.
Forever.
And inside linebacker Tyler Metakevich signed with the Buffalo Bills. I think it was a 2-year deal,
What?
about $9 million.
Wow. Special teams is valuable, man. I mean, I guess we're seeing that.
You just said that. Whoa.
I mean, I guess we're seeing that. I said fullback is about as valuable as buying your wife a vacuum cleaner for Christmas.
My wife would like a vacuum cleaner, actually. So
you better not do it, Jeff.
Well, hold on. So let's take a look at this because Reginald asked in the live chat how many comp picks would the Steelers have for 2021 as of now. So take a look at the players that they've lost compared to the players that they signed. So BJ Finney, gone. Sean Davis, gone. Hargrave, gone. Metakevich, gone. So even though everyone says, it's just Tyler Metakevich, that's still a player that left in free agency. You only bring in Derek Watt. So the size of the contract matters. The experience, how much they play in production matters, whether they stay with it. So if Metakevich, just like LJ Fort did with the Eagles last year, if he gets cut, that impacts stuff. But as of right now, they've lost 4, only gained 1. I think for sure they would at least get a third round comp pick for Hargrave. They'd probably get at least one more if nothing changes. The fact that they just restructured Marquise Pouncey's contract tells me they're going to make another move. I'm not sure who.
A third and a fifth.
They're going to move.
I'm thinking like a third and a fifth, third and a sixth. Those other guys, they're going to have to play for them to get something of value because their contracts, I'm going to assume, of all those guys weren't much. You need that guy that gets the big deal and balls out. That way you can get a lot.
Yeah. So in that aspect, everyone's like, well, it's losing all these guys. It can pay off in the long run in terms of compensatory picks. A lot of people hate that, but Mule Skinner says, did they cut the Wonder? No, they didn't. Why? No. The guy is going to live forever. He's going to be on the team until he's probably 75 or as long as Tomlin's there. No, they did not cut.
What's the name of the guy who the film when Kennedy was assassinated? What was the name of that?
It was the Pruder film?
Yes. He has a copy of that, but it's the Tomlin films. It's the Tomlin
second
films.
Gunman on the grassy knoll.
Yes, I swear he has that. I mean, I swear he has that because he has something incriminating on the staff. Something. Because he is a bust, bum. He's everything that you can. Yeah. He's all of that and then some.
So Well, I only want to mention the restricted free agents. They put second round tenders on both Matt Filer and Mike Hilton. They signed the long snapper to a 2-year contract, and they signed Zach Banner to a 1-year contract, which was just like I think 1.75 million, which is less than any tender. His original round tender, which I believe he was a 4th round pick, it was less than that. So he took like a hometown discount. He said he wanted to do like a prove it contract. He wanted to just show what he could do and hope to get a long term deal.
Don't believe that.
What's
Don't
that?
believe that. Don't believe that. He said that. Don't believe it. He didn't have any options.
Well, a lot of people believe that the fact they let Finney go, they're probably going to move Filer to guard, and it's going to be Chooks or Banner at right tackle unless they draft an early lineman, be it a guard or a tackle, with that second round pick, which obviously we'll have plenty of time to talk about. But
that's scary.
It is scary, but honestly, I want to get your opinion about, and it'd be a great way to kind of wrap up this show. Freaking Tom Brady's out of the AFC.
Yes. Ding dong, Brady is dead. Wake
I don't
up,
care that he's 43.
Heads.
I don't care that he's 43.
Ding dong, Tom Brady's dead.
I know you were texting your brother. Is he in depression?
Oh, man, I'm killing. I've been texting him pictures of Tom Brady in pewter and white repeatedly. Like every hour, I text him another picture of Tom. All the memes, everything. Tom is done. And you know what? Arians is going to get Tom killed.
Oh my gosh, he's going to die.
he's going to get Tom killed. Unless they change that entire offense. Tom Brady taking 7-step drops and 5-step, he's going to get killed. He's going to absolutely get killed. Now they've got weapons galore. I thought he was going to go to the Chargers if he left anywhere, but a lot of reports are saying that he wanted to stay on the East Coast because his oldest son, whose initials are Jet, which is, that's why you don't piss off your baby mama. And she, his initials are Jet. And they did that intentionally as a rub against Tom Brady.
Huh.
So, his baby mama, yes, Tom Brady has a baby mama, is the actress from CBS Brunette, Bridget Moynihan or something like that, actress. Huh. And so she had a baby then he started dating Giselle. Yeah, he did like the typical young black guy move. Like he did that move. And so he's going to get killed. He's going to get killed down there. Oh yes, the Patriots are going to suck. And just think about it. The AFC East, the best quarterback in the AFC East is Ryan Fitzpatrick. Fitzmagic is the best quarterback in the AFC East. Now, he doesn't have the most upside. I think Josh Allen has the most upside, but Ryan Fitzpatrick is the best quarterback in the AFC East. Brady, Josh Stidham. You gotta love it.
Like I said, I don't care if he's 43. I don't care if he's not what he once was. I don't care. I'm almost just as excited for, my hope is that the Patriots go to mediocrity. And it's I feel like it's inevitable, but you just don't know. I have a guy that follows me on Instagram, and he's a Patriots fan. And he goes, we lost Tom Brady. We lost Brady. I'm like, welcome to 8-8, buddy. Or I'm sorry, 8-9. Now that
oh yeah, that's right.
That's 2021. They started 17 games. 2021.
Jeff,
so we have one more year.
We got the Chargers wrong, like all year, right? We got Sandy.
You did. I did a good job.
I got the Chargers wrong all year, right? It's the LA Chargers, and I should know because my mom lives across the street from the stadium. So I should know. How many times are we going to get it wrong with 17 games? It just feels that's odd. Literally, it's odd. 17 games. Oh, they went 8-9. The 7 seed, like that.
The 7 seed is going to be weird too. That's going to happen this year. This year we'll have a 7 seed. Next year, meaning 2021, is when they'll start the 17 games. It's going to be different. We'll put it that way. It's going to be
so different. There's a 7th seed this year and still 16 games.
7. They are expanding playoffs. This year.
I think I froze too. I think I said something bad about Tom Brady, and all of my internet powers were taken away. Jeez, say you better not say anything bad about Brady, or they just remove your internet connection. Like, wow, I will never
I don't
say
know what the hell
anything.
is happening there.
Yeah, that we spoke bad of the goats.
You don't do that. Don't do that.
Don't ooh,
Well,
Candy
none of
Man.
that would. I think that was worse that we went after We went after Belichick because he's the one. He's the one that taps into. He's tapping into headsets and messing with our show and all this stuff. So
Yeah, he just tapped into us. That was weird. Speak bad about the Patriots are gone. They're done. Patriots, they're done. That's a wrap.
I love it. I love the fans because Boston fans are the most spoiled fans ever, man. Whether it's hockey, basketball, baseball, football, they've just had so much success. And you see those punk little kids that are holding up signs. It's like, oh, this is my 17th Super Bowl or 17th championship parade that I've been to, and I've only been on the earth for 18 years. Dude, get out of here, man.
Oh, by the way, Jeff, not to cut you off, I do want to say my condolences to friend of the program, Pat Lane. Pat joined us on the first program of the year to break down the Patriots game, and I do want to send my condolences to Pat. Yeah, Pat, my brother, Big Pat's fan, my boy Timba, they're all in mourning right now as they see Tom Brady go get smashed. He's going to get smashed. It's going to look like Montana. He's going to get smashed, and then we're going to see all these bad ESPN reports. See, it was Belichick. It was because of Jeff Belichick. He's a system guy. When they both suck next year, it's going to be great. It's going to be great.
I bet the Patriots make a big move in the draft.
And get who?
I think they'll try to get a quarterback. I think he's got a lot of draft capital. I bet he tries to make a move.
They have a bunch of picks. They got 12 picks.
But Miami's not giving it up, not to New England. They're not trading a pick to
Miami's. He's not getting
past.
To
find someone else.
Yeah, Miami will. Tua won't get past Miami. I mean, not at all. It would have been even better had he. No, it was best that he went to the NFC. I thought it'd been great had he went to the Jets and tried to stick it to Belichick twice a year. But they're not going to go. Reed Overhand says they'll go for is it
Herbert.
See, that's how bad I am with
That's
college.
An Oregon Duck. You should know he's out on your side of the coast.
I hate the Ducks. The Ducks are actually, you think about obnoxious fans. Oregon Duck fans are the worst. They are absolutely the worst. But I do think the Pats will trade up and try to get a quarterback. But like I told my brother years ago, they killed the succession plan with Jimmy Garoppolo, and now Brady, when both parties wanted Brady, the owner and the coach, Brady was like, "Nah, I'm gone. Deuces. I'm going to Tampa."
He's going to get paid. And the thing is that Cam Newton's still out there. There's still some players out there. So I just want to mention, stick with BehindTheSteelCurtain.com and stick with our podcast platform. Tomorrow night, the Steelers preview, myself, Brian Anthony Davis, and Dave Schofield will be there breaking down whatever news happened yesterday, and then the after party, which is just pure chaos anyway. So if you've never listened to the after party, you should. I know Lance has chimed in a few times. It's pretty off the wall.
Well, by the time tomorrow, the Steelers will sign a backup fullback.
Yes, and we'll talk all about it. It'll be great. So anything else for the good of the order, Lance, or are we good to go?
No, I do not, but make sure you guys are staying safe, doing what you need to do to stay safe. Keep washing those hands. But with that, we are going to conclude the program. And as always, tune in, tell a friend, and subscribe.
Amen. We'll see you next week for another episode of The Standard is the Standard. Take it easy, everyone.